If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast. We are, of course, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Most of you know that by now. Thank goodness that happened because it enabled me to get a bunch of cool gigs, a bunch of cool podcasts. This week, I got another doubleheader, Steve. I've got Chiefs Steelers on the radio tomorrow on Christmas Day. So after Santa Claus comes and we do the gifts till about, 7:30 a.m., probably about as late as I can push it, then I will drive 3 hours west to the Steel City to call that game on the radio and then fly up to Boston. I got the Chargers and the Patriots Saturday. NFL Network, Saturday, 1 o'clock, standalone game. Looking forward to it. Bunch of podcasts. Listen, anything you ever want to know about the NFL, we do it in 26 minutes or less on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. You can know anything and everything going on around the league. Here on this show, we win. Overtime, we win. Making bets on the NFL. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL on social media. We're at Ross Tucker Pod. He's the star of the show, at Fezzik Sports. Only 2-time winner of the Super Contest over at the Westgate. Reminder, you can still get all of our bets in black and white to finish the season strong and in the postseason from the Australian sensation grades via our private Slack channel. Just go to patreon.com/RTmedia. It's patreon.com/RTmedia. Shout out to Leonard Lipkin, Scott Rainier, George Miller, Darren Shaw, some of the latest patrons over at patreon.com/RTmedia. Steve, we'll go right into last week because, again, no buys, so we got to get to all the games. For the week, I was up 2 units because 4 out of my 5 teaser legs hit. For the week, you were down 8 units. So it's interesting. After all this, for the year, I'm up 10 units. You're up 9.5. So obviously we root for each other. We want the show to do as well as possible. But also it's interesting that we are neck and neck. It started with the Broncos and the Chargers. I leaned Broncos. Thankfully, that's all it was. You put under 2 units, Steve. Ooh, this looks like it might be wrong here. I'm just checking this out. You had, the total was 42.5. Oh, yeah, you went under. Sorry. Duh. Yes. You went under for 2 units because it's the 2 top scoring defense in the NFL. 34-27.
Never
Not
close.
even close.
Nope. And deserved loss.
Texans, Chiefs. We had the Chiefs as a teaser leg. And in fact, 4 out of my 5 teaser legs hit this week, Steve. So I'll actually go ahead and I'll make that our DraftKings crowning moment. Crowning moments are presented by DraftKings. Submit your winning bets for a chance to be featured. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Here's the teaser legs that won. Chiefs plus 8.5. Bengals -1. Lions -0.5 point. Falcons -2.5. The only teaser leg that didn't come through for us was the 49ers getting 7.5, and they still couldn't cover. Otherwise, we did very well with the teasers as usual.
Unlucky
that Texans
with the
Chiefs
49ers.
game, Steve, that's the one where you had the parlay. You had the Texans and the under 40 because last Tuesday morning when we recorded, we really did not think Patrick Mahomes was going to play. The guy is Gumby. He always plays, Steve. It's crazy.
You know, what's interesting is when you were watching him on the quarterback show, how he's like LeBron James, right? It seems like he invests more. I know all NFL players try to do this, but he excels at getting in there and whatever it takes, right, with his personal trainer to get him ready and be flexible to avoid these injuries, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think more and more guys are like that now, especially when you're making as much money as he is. Steelers, Ravens, I put 2 units on the Steelers getting 6 because the game is always 20-17. It wasn't. It was 34-17. Russell Wilson killed me with the pick six and the fumble inside the 10. Otherwise, I felt pretty good actually about that wager. Eagles, Commanders. I leaned to the Commanders. So did you, getting the 3.5. We should have taken it. They won the game outright. Certainly hurts getting a concussion 6 minutes into the game affected that. We had a best bet on the Jets getting 3.5. At one point, Steve, they were winning 9-6. They lost 19-9.
Stats were equal. I'd make the bet again. I hate these Jets. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I am not a fan.
Tell me why.
It all comes back really. Number one, he cheated in the Pro-Am. He won the Pro-Am at Pebble Beach. He's got a plaque on the wall, and it's like the exact opposite of my dad. If my dad would never sandbag to like win like a handicap tournament, especially if he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers, egomaniac, just, I got a 10 handicap, and then he goes out and he plays better than John Daly. Give me a break.
Is that right? I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, he cheated. The Pro-Am, the only way to win this Pro-Am, it's one pro and one amateur, and you get the amateurs handicap. So the only people who ever win are the cheaters and the sandbaggers, just like in your bowling league, the guys that cheat and then come playoff time, suddenly they're rolling 180s instead of 150s.
Like, how do you even feel good about yourself doing something like that? That's so bizarre to me. Absolutely wild. I don't get it. All right. I don't get a lot of things about him. Panthers, Cardinals. I leaned Panthers getting the 4 points. You leaned Cardinals. Panthers won outright in overtime. Bears, Lions. We had the Lions as a teaser leg. That hit. Titans, Colts. I leaned Titans getting the 4.5. They ended up losing 38-30. Falcons, Giants. We had the Falcons as a teaser leg. That one came through easily, obviously. Vikings, Seahawks. I leaned Seahawks getting the 3.5. We both did, Steve. And they lost 27-24. That should have been a best bet for us. Bills, Patriots. I leaned Bills. I don't remember that, but evidently I leaned Bills minus 14. They were fortunate to win the game. I mean, that was a close game. Dolphins, Niners. I can't believe they didn't cover. Steve, 5 teaser legs. You only get one wrong, and even though you're round robining them, you're only up 4 units on that.
Yeah, because there's 10 plays, and boom, 4 of them are gonna have that one play. Hey, the Niners closed the favorite. Think about this. So you played a 6-point teaser. Essentially, you played a 10-point teaser, and still didn't get
lost.
That. Yep,
and still lost. Gosh, Jags, Raiders. You leaned under. That was a good call. It went under, Steve. Bucks, Cowboys. I put 2 units on the Cowboys. The way they've been playing, getting the 4 points, they won outright. That was a good bet for me. And then Packers, Saints. You leaned Packers laying the 13.5, Steve. They won 34-0. I think I saw on social media at Fezzik Sports, you really upgraded that play as the week went on.
Yeah, so Packers first half, they've been so good in the first half. So I put out a max bet on Packers first half. I wish they were all that easy.
So again, for the week, I was up 2. You were down 8. We were 1-3 on our best bets because of those darn Niners and that teaser. So for the week, I'm up 10. You're up 9.5. Our best bets are 61, 52, and 3. A 53% strike rate. You can get all this information, patreon.com/RT Media. Onward and upward, Steve. And we start with the 2 games tomorrow on Christmas. My game, Chiefs, laying 3 against the Steelers, totals 43.5.
All right, I know Pittsburgh has let you down back-to-back weeks. Now's the time to jump on Tomlin plus the points. Of course, I'm concerned that Kansas City sees the clear path to the home field, and they just need one more win. Maybe they win by 2. 1 unit, Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.
I will go best bet on that, but again, only for 1 unit. It's interesting because when I looked at this last night, I think the Steelers were getting 2.5, and I love them as a teaser leg up to 8.5. Instead, I'll put 1 unit on them getting the 3. George Pickens, full participant in practice. That helps the Steelers quite a bit. They're trying to win that division. What about the Ravens laying 5.5 on the road against the Texans? Total's 46.5.
I don't see how the total can be 46.5 with Houston. That's a dead nut under team, and without Dell now, I want to go under for 2 units.
Ooh, under 46.5 for Steve. You know, they've been much better on defense at home too, have the Houston Texans. So I'm putting 2 units on this game. I'm going to go Houston plus the 5.5 at home for 2 units. And then I'll join you, Steve, on the under as well. Under 46.5, 2 units. So is that bad, by the way? Is that bad by me to have 2 separate bets on the same game like that?
No, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, I didn't know if there's any correlation there. All right, what about the Seahawks Thursday night? They're laying 3.5 against the Bears. Total's 43.5.
Boy, I want to bet against the Bears each and every week, but Seattle, that's the dream crusher. That was a really high-level game. What a disappointment that they couldn't get it done against the Vikings. I'm going to pass the game.
Yeah, I love getting 3.5. I don't love laying 3.5, although I think the Bears are kind of, as you would say, dunzo. I'm not going to do it. Let's get to the Saturday games, including my game. It's the Chargers and the Patriots. Chargers are laying 4. Total's 42.5.
Yeah, I was very impressed with New England and how well they played against Buffalo. I'm going to go 1 unit. By the way, Ross, I listen to the Red Zone, and it's cool every now and then your voice cuts in, you know, when they go to updates and the like. But now you listen to the whole game. 1 unit, New England plus 4.5.
I think I'll do the same. I think it's just 4, by the way, just plus 4
That's
right
fine.
now. Yeah, I'll go 1 unit on New England as well. I'm a little concerned because the Chargers had extra time to rest and prepare for this one, but they're just coming off a huge win over the Broncos. I do think this will be close. Sometimes I think I want it to be close so much as I'm calling the game that maybe I'm a little bit biased. What about the Broncos? That's another best bet, by the way. We have 3 best bets already. What about the Broncos getting 3.5 in Cincy? Totals 50.
You know, it sure feels like it's the Bengals game, but the number, I definitely prefer Denver. I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I think the Bengals win the game, but the Broncos got a pretty good thing going. They're getting 3.5. I'm doing it. Denver plus 3.5, only 1 unit. I'm not going to go 2. I don't feel that strongly about it, but I'll take the Broncos plus 3.5 for 1 unit. What about the Cardinals and the Rams? The total, by the way, the total of the Patriots Chargers is 42.5. Broncos Bengals 50. Cardinals Rams totals 48. Cardinals are getting 6.
Yeah, and you know, there's even 6.5s out there. I don't understand this line. I understand that Arizona is eliminated from the playoffs, but the Rams are not much better than Arizona. The Rams were not impressive against the Jets. This should be a competitive game. 2 units on Arizona.
Totally agree. It's another best bet. I think people are counting on the Cardinals to lay down. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna come out and play well. Wouldn't be surprised if they win the game. A lot of pressure on the Rams in that game. Arizona plus 6, 2 units, best bet. We move on to Sunday. The Jets are getting 9.5 in Buffalo, Steve. Total's 46.
You know, I have no idea. Buffalo played a bad game, and they could have lost last week. I'm passing completely.
Steve, I have yet another best bet, but it's only this week. My friends at West Shore are looking to reduce inventory. So they were already offering 25% off. Now it gets even better. If you schedule your appointment by New Year's Eve, on Tuesday, they're going to take an additional $2,000 off all shower and bath projects. And yeah, you can go to westshorehome.com/Ross, my website, and get that extra $1,000 off. So we're talking 25% off plus $2,000 plus $1,000. This is insane. If you've ever wanted a full bath remodel or even just a new shower or 2, or you want to get awesome new doors, you got to go to westshorehome.com/Ross. Do the math. This is like when you get all those bonus picks, Steve, with all the promotions from the different books. 25% plus 2,000 plus 1,000, westshorehome.com/Ross. Speaking of best bets, how about Masterclass and their new awesome class, Bet Smart, Top Sports Betting Strategies. These are our buddies, Steve. It's guys like Joe Fortenbaugh, Nick Costos, the guy I always see you engaging with on social media, Rob Pizzola. All you have to do is go to masterclass.com/even and see what their current offer is. This time of year around the holidays, they have offers up to as much as 50% off. They got lots of great classes there, including this one on sports betting. Up to 50% off at masterclass.com/even. Masterclass.com/even. You guys, so many of you are always asking Steve questions, wanting to ask him questions. This is where you can learn quite a bit. Remember, all sports betting involves risk. You're responsible for complying with all sports betting laws in your jurisdiction. Masterclass.com/even. Yeah, I don't know what to do here either. I think that the Jets, at least Rodgers, I mean, they settled for field goals. They had a bunch of fourth downs. I mean, they could have really won that game against the Rams. This would be a pass for me. If anything, I think I'd lean to the Jets getting the 9.5 with the way the Bills have played defensively these days. Colts are laying 8 on the road. Totals 40.5 against the Giants.
So Wong teasers, we love teasing -8. We don't like that with the road teams, but I don't care. They're playing the New York Giants, and the New York Giants essentially are on the road, if you ask me, every week. No support at home. First of my teaser legs is Indianapolis.
No question. I'm with you on that one. Indianapolis -2. Would be very surprised if they lost that game. Very. So teaser leg, get them down to -2. They'll win by a field goal or more. Looks like a good teaser leg. What about the Cowboys and the Eagles? The Cowboys are getting 9 points, Steve. Total's 43.
Yep, I will lean to the over on the total. I think the total's a little bit low. I saw the Cowboys put up some points against Tampa Bay, but just a lean.
I'm taking the Cowboys plus the 9. Whether Hurts plays or not, that's a lot of points. And, Hurts may not play. You don't know what happens with the concussion protocol. Plus, the Cowboys have won 4 out of their last 5. Their only loss was the Bengals. I mean, you're going to give me 9 points? 2 units Cowboys plus 9. What about Carolina and the Bucks? The Bucks are laying 8 at home. Totals 49.5.
So for the Bucks to win the division, they got to win out, and they need a loss from Atlanta. So they're going to be all in after a little bit of a phony loss. They should have beat Dallas. And Dallas played well. This is a slam dunk, great teaser leg. So we're going to include Tampa Bay in the teaser legs. All teaser legs, unless otherwise said, all teaser plays are 2 units.
Yep, that's the best bet because I've got the Bucks as one of my teaser legs as well, -2. So we got the Bucks and the Colts both teased down to -2 paired together so far. What about the Titans? They're catching a point in Jacksonville. Totals 41, Steve.
So I'm keeping an eye on this game, Ross. Depending on which way the wind blows, whoever becomes a 1.5 point favorite, I'll tease the other guys because I think it should be a close field goal or 7-point game. So I'm waiting it out, but keep an eye on the line move as a potential teaser candidate. Nothing right now.
That's exactly how I feel. As soon as it gets to 1.5, I'm teasing the underdog up to 7.5. Can you say the same thing about the next game, Steve, where the Raiders are catching a point in New Orleans against the Saints? Totals 39.5.
Absolutely. 100%. Same analysis. Hey, on the total, I'm going to lean over. And the reason being, whenever you have a team like New Orleans that has absolutely no touchdowns or even no points at all week long, the Saints are going to be focused on offense, not defense. So I'll lean to the over in this game. I know it's hard to bet. It's just a lean.
Got it. It's a lean over for Steve in that total of 39.5 Saints Raiders. How about the Dolphins Browns? Really intrigued by this one. The Dolphins are laying 6.5, totals 40. So Steve, everything would normally tell me tease the Dolphins down to -0.5 because the Browns are dunzo, as you would say, and the Dolphins are likely to win the game. The weather worries me a little bit, Steve. Is that enough to not have it be a teaser leg, or are you still good with it?
Well, a lot of things. One, it's a road favorite, so I shouldn't tease it. Two, it's not a 7.5 point favorite. It's a 6.5 point favorite, so I should be able to get better value with the money line. And third, I don't like playing Florida teams in the wintertime. Having said all this, DTR is still the quarterback for Cleveland. That's all I need. That trumps all three factors. The weather's going to be like 43 degrees and some rain. It's not going to be horrendously cold. So I like the other teasers a lot. So I need things to pair them into. I'm doing it, Ross. Putting Miami in as a teaser down to -0.5. Cleveland's not winning the game.
So here's the question. Are we sure DTR is playing? Because he's on the injury report and got hurt in the last game. I'm just wondering. I want to know for sure.
You know what? I'm gonna take him off then, because if DTR doesn't play, if Winston played, I'm like, I wouldn't want it. So, was it even Winston? Who's next man up?
It would be Winston. They would put Jameis back in again. That's the problem.
Yes.
If it was DTR, I'd be all over it. I mean,
let me cancel the play then. I'm not going to include them then.
Well, let me just see real quick. Kevin Stefanski, hold on a second. Kevin Stefanski said he plans to start Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback against the Dolphins despite his 2 interceptions. I just didn't know because he spent several minutes in the medical tent with a lingering calf injury, but says he plans to play against the Dolphins. That's actually better, a lingering calf injury.
Let's go with it. Now,
I'm with you. I just wanted to make sure because I saw that he was on the injury report. Miami, -0.5 point is a teaser leg for both Steve and I. It's a best bet. If DTR is playing, the Dolphins are winning the game. I got a teaser leg on the next one too, Steve. It's Packers, game of the day. Getting 1.5 points in Minnesota. Total's 49. I don't care that it's a short week. Steve, the Packers are good, like really good. I can tease them up to 7.5. I'm all over that.
Absolutely. Minnesota might find a way to win the game. They're so good in the end game, but it's going to be a close game. Excuse me. So I'm with you. Let's add Green Bay up to 7.5.
All right, so that's 4 teaser legs so far. I'll recap them at the end, but we got 4 teaser legs. Sunday night game is an interesting one. It's Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons against the Commanders. The total is 47.5, Steve.
Yeah, I am all over Atlanta here. I make this game 3. So the Falcons have just gotten a double boost of espresso here. The bird of prey is decloaking upon their opponents and it's going to go ahead and blow them up. Atlanta was donezo just a week ago. Now, all of a sudden, the Penix pick looks good. The organization feels good, and Tampa Bay loses. Atlanta has a clear path to the division title. They got a cupcake next week. They just have to win this game, and Washington is off a tear the goalpost down type of win last week. Atlanta's going to pull this upset. They're going to win outright. 3 units, Atlanta.
Wow. 3 units on the Atlanta Falcons from Steve. I'm not going to go 3 units because Jaden Daniels is that guy, but I am going to go 2 units, Atlanta +4. All the logic that Steve just mentioned, I think that is yet another best bet. Man, we have a chance to have a really big best bet week. Last but not least, Steve, Monday Night Football. It's the line. By the way, I don't even know if I said it. It's Atlanta +4. Atlanta +4 against the Commanders. I love that bet because you're right. The Commanders are still feeling themselves over that Eagles win. The Lions are laying 3.5 against the Niners. Total's 51. Why is this only 3.5, Steve? That feels weird.
It's because all the defensive injuries for Detroit. So, I mean, the Niners are still an average team. The game against Miami that we famously lost our teasers on. It's evenly played in the stats. So power rating on a neutral, I make it 5, 1.5 for home field travel for Detroit. I'm there on the number. I got nothing on this game. I'll lean to the over.
We got an awesome week to drink some Smirnoff cocktails and enjoy football. How about Christmas Eve? Christmas, we got 2 games, including the game I'm calling. Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday. Guess what? Smirnoff and the NFL are with you every step of the way. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka. Plus, they are an official vodka partner of the NFL. This holiday season, when you're enjoying the game and your cocktails, please make sure to drink responsibly. Take a minute, make a plan, never drive impaired. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. Smirnoff, we do game days. Yeah, I'm like physically incapable of laying 3.5 and even leaning that way. I can't do it. What I can do, Steve, is ask you a question from a listener. The listener says, I don't have a name here. They opened an account at DraftKings in Ohio after 6 months of moderately successful betting. They had their limits cut to around $150 on straight wagers, $25 on player props. Do you know how they determine limits, and how do you or others circumvent these limits to make it worth their time?
Yeah, so, I am a blackjack player. And since the 1970s, Beat the Dealer came out and players have been limited, backed off, told not to play blackjack. And sports betting had an enormous advantage because you could just play, basically no camouflage, no barrings, whatever you wanted to bet, you bet the limits and you were fine. And then what happened is that the world changed around 2015. A lot of the European operators came in and they had a different philosophy. And some of the U.S. bookmakers have copied that. Most of them have, that they limit the winning players. It's kind of silly when you think about it, because you can sign up your best friend, you can sign up your girlfriend, you can sign up your third cousin and just coordinate with them and have an account that you share. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not giving any legal advice, but my understanding, basically, everybody does this. And my take, and I'll say it, the DraftKings might not be like this, but I'll say it. You could take a normal sized bet from me, or you can go ahead and limit me, and then I will blast out a text to 100 people to make the same bet.
You know what, though? They're probably happy that many more people are getting accounts, and maybe they can make their own bets. That's a really interesting one. That'll do it, by the way, for us. Check him out at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. We will be back next week. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.